The rain fell hard on the small town of Riverdale that cold afternoon. Water poured from dark gray clouds. The streets were almost empty. Most people stayed inside their homes or shops to stay dry, but not everyone was safe from the rain that day. On the corner near the town square, a small dog sat tied to a metal pole. The rope around his neck was tight. His brown fur was wet and dirty. The dog shook from the cold rain. His sad eyes looked at people who walked by. No one stopped to help. They just looked away and walked faster. The dog had been there since morning. A tall man in a dark coat had left him there. The man had pulled up in an old truck, dragged the dog out, and tied him to the pole. Then he drove away without looking back. The dog had barked and cried, pulling at the rope until his neck hurt. Now he just sat there, too tired to fight anymore. Water ran down the street in small streams. The dog's paws were in a puddle. He had no shelter from the rain or wind. His thin body showed he had not eaten well for a long time. His ribs stuck out under his wet fur. One of his ears was torn at the tip. His tail was tucked between his legs. Sam Chen walked out of the grocery store with bags in his hands. He was a quiet man who worked at the town library. He did not talk to many people. Sam had moved to Riverdale just 6 months ago. He kept to himself most days. But when he saw the dog tied to the pole, he stopped walking. Sam put his bags down under the store roof. He walked over to the dog slowly. The dog looked up, not sure if he should be afraid. Sam knelt down, getting his pants wet in the puddle. He held out his hand for the dog to smell. The dog sniffed his fingers, and then licked them once. His tail moved just a little. "Who left you here, buddy?" Sam asked in a soft voice. He checked for a collar or tag but found none. The dog was just left there like trash. Sam felt anger rise in his chest. How could someone do this to a living thing? Sam tried to untie the rope, but the knot was too tight. The rain made his fingers slip on the wet rope. He needed something to cut it. Sam looked around for help. The street was still mostly empty. A few cars drove by, splashing water as they passed. Mrs. Wilson from the flower shop across the street watched from her window. She had seen the dog all day but had been too busy with customers to check on him. When she saw Sam trying to help, she grabbed her coat and an umbrella. She hurried across the street to them. "That poor thing has been there for hours," she said, holding the umbrella over Sam and the dog. "I was going to call animal control when I closed the shop." "We need to cut this rope," Sam said. "Do you have scissors or a knife?" Mrs. Wilson nodded and hurried back to her shop. While she was gone, more people noticed what was happening. A teenage boy on a bike stopped. An old man walking with a cane came closer. A woman in a business suit got out of her car. They all gathered around the pole in the rain. The dog looked up at the growing crowd of people. For the first time that day, his eyes showed a tiny bit of hope. Sam patted his wet head gently. "It's okay now," he said. "You're not alone anymore." Little did they know that this small moment would change many lives in Riverdale. The dog tied to a pole in the rain was about to bring together people who would never have met otherwise, and someone very important was about to arrive. Mrs. Wilson came back from her flower shop with a pair of garden scissors. Her gray hair was now wet even though she tried to stay under her umbrella. She handed the scissors to Sam, who thanked her with a nod. "Be careful not to hurt him," the teenage boy said. He got off his bike and let it fall to the wet ground. His name was Jamal, and he had 2 dogs at home. Seeing an animal left in the rain made him sad and angry. Sam worked on cutting the thick rope. It was harder than it looked. The rope was old but strong. The wet knots were tight. His hands became red from trying. The dog stayed still as if he knew Sam was trying to help him. "Let me try," said the man with the cane. His name was Mr. Peterson. He had been a fisherman for 40 years before he retired. He knew all about ropes and knots. Sam gave him the scissors and stepped back. Mr. Peterson looked at the knot carefully. Instead of cutting the main rope, he found a weak spot in the knot. With one good cut and a twist, the rope came loose. The dog was free. "Good job," said the woman in the business suit. Her name was Diana. She took off her nice coat and wrapped it around the wet dog. She did not care that her expensive coat would get dirty and smelly. The dog needed it more than she did. The small crowd of people now had to decide what to do next. They could not leave the dog on the street. The animal shelter was closed for the day. The rain kept falling. They all stood there getting wet, looking at each other. "I can take him to my house for tonight," Sam offered. He had never had a pet before. His small apartment did not allow dogs, but he could not walk away now. Just then, they heard the sound of a police siren. A patrol car pulled up to the curb. The red and blue lights flashed in the rain. Officer Roberts stepped out with a big umbrella. He was the only police officer in town who worked with animal cases. Someone called about a dog tied to a pole. Officer Roberts asked. He was a big man with a kind face. He looked at the small dog wrapped in Diana's coat. The dog's eyes were still scared. "Yes, we just freed him," Mrs. Wilson explained. "Some horrible person left him here this morning. The poor thing has been in the rain all day." Officer Roberts knelt down to check the dog. "No collar, no tags," he said. "Probably a dump job. Some people get tired of their pets and just leave them somewhere." The crowd made angry noises. How could anyone do such a cruel thing? "I need to file a report," Officer Roberts said. "We have cameras on the square. Maybe we can see who did this." While Officer Roberts was talking, a black car drove slowly down the street. It was long and shiny. The windows were dark. Everyone in Riverdale knew that car. It belonged to Dr. Elizabeth Morgan. Dr. Morgan was the richest person in town. She lived in the big house on the hill. Most people had never spoken to her. She kept to herself and rarely came to town. Some people said she was mean. Others said she was just sad and lonely. The black car stopped next to the police car. The back door opened. The crowd went quiet. They watched as a pair of fancy boots stepped onto the wet street. Dr. Morgan got out of her car. She wore a long dark coat and held a black umbrella. Her face was serious. Her gray hair was pulled back tight. Everyone expected her to complain about the crowd blocking the street. Instead, she walked straight to the dog. She looked at him for a long time. The dog looked back at her. Then something strange happened. Dr. Morgan's serious face changed. Her eyes filled with tears. "Thomas," she whispered, "is that you?" The crowd looked at each other in confusion. Who was Thomas? And why did the richest, most distant person in town care about a dirty stray dog tied to a pole in the rain? The crowd stood silent in the rain. They watched Dr. Morgan kneel down in the wet street. She did not seem to care about her fancy clothes getting dirty. The dog looked at her with his head tilted to one side. His tail moved slightly. "Do you know this dog?" Officer Roberts asked. He was surprised like everyone else. Dr. Morgan reached out her hand slowly. The dog sniffed it and then licked her fingers. A small sound came from Dr. Morgan. It might have been a laugh or a sob. "I had a dog named Thomas," she said in a quiet voice. "He looked just like this one. Same brown coat, same white spot on his chest, same torn left ear." She touched the dog gently behind his ears. "But Thomas disappeared 3 years ago. I looked everywhere for him." The dog moved closer to Dr. Morgan. He seemed to remember her touch. The coat Diana had put on him slipped off as he pressed against Dr. Morgan's legs. Could it really be the same dog? Mrs. Wilson asked. After all this time, Dr. Morgan looked up with wet eyes. Rain dropped from her face, or maybe they were tears. Thomas had a small scar on his back leg from when he was a puppy. Sam and Officer Roberts checked the dog's back leg. There was a thin white line of fur running across his left back leg, a scar that had healed long ago. "It's there," Sam said. Dr. Morgan made a sound between a laugh and a cry. "Thomas," she said again. This time the dog wagged his tail harder. He knew that name. He knew her voice. "But how did he end up tied to this pole?" Jamal asked. If he was your dog and went missing 3 years ago, where has he been all this time? Everyone looked to Dr. Morgan for answers, but she just shook her head. I wish I knew, she said. All that matters now is that I found him. Officer Roberts cleared his throat. We still need to make a report, he said, and we should take the dog to a vet to make sure he's okay. Of course, Dr. Morgan said, standing up. I know Dr. Adams is still open. I can take Thomas there right now. She looked at the wet, dirty dog with so much love in her eyes that the crowd was shocked. They had never seen Dr. Morgan show any feelings before. I should come too, Officer Roberts said, to document everything. Dr. Morgan nodded. Her driver got out of the black car and opened the back door. Dr. Morgan picked up Thomas carefully. The dog was thin and light in her arms. She carried him to the car as if he was made of glass. Before getting in the car, she turned to the small crowd of people still standing in the rain. For the first time in years, Dr. Morgan spoke directly to the town people. Thank you, she said. Thank you for helping him when I could not. The crowd watched as the black car drove away with Officer Roberts following in his police car. The rain started to ease a little. Everyone looked at each other, not sure what to say about what they had just seen. Well, said Mr. Peterson, leaning on his cane. I never thought I would see the Ice Queen cry. Don't call her that, Sam said. Not anymore. They all went their separate ways then. Sam picked up his wet grocery bags. Mrs. Wilson went back to her flower shop. Diana walked to her car without her nice coat. Jamal got back on his bike. Mr. Peterson walked slowly home with his cane. But the story of the dog tied to the pole was just beginning to spread through town. By morning, everyone in Riverdale would be talking about it. About the dog in the rain. About the people who stopped to help. And about how Dr. Elizabeth Morgan, the woman who had cut herself off from the whole town for years, had broken down in tears in the middle of the street. What no one knew yet was that the man who had tied Thomas to the pole was still in town. And he had secrets that would shock everyone, including Dr. Morgan herself. The next morning was clear and sunny. The rain had stopped during the night. Dr. Adams, the town vet, was checking Thomas in his small clinic. Dr. Morgan sat nearby, watching every move. She had not left the dog's side all night. He is thin and tired, Dr. Adams said, but no broken bones, no serious health problems. He needs good food, rest, and love. The vet gave Thomas a gentle pat on the head. He's a lucky dog to be found by people who care. Officer Roberts came into the clinic with a folder in his hand. I have some news, he said. We checked the town square cameras. We have clear pictures of the man who left Thomas tied to the pole. He opened the folder and showed them photos from the security camera. The pictures showed a tall man with dark hair pulling Thomas from an old truck. The man's face was clear in one of the photos as he looked up at the sky, checking for rain. Dr. Morgan looked at the photo and gasped. Her face turned white. That's impossible, she whispered. Do you know him? Officer Roberts asked, surprised. That's Jeff Miller, she said. Her voice shook. He used to work for me. He was my gardener for 5 years. Officer Roberts wrote this down in his notebook. And when did he stop working for you? 3 years ago, Dr. Morgan said. Right after Thomas disappeared. Jeff said he was moving to another state for family reasons. He left town suddenly. The pieces were starting to fit together. Officer Roberts looked serious. So your gardener left town at the same time your dog went missing. And now he comes back just to tie the same dog to a pole in the rain. That's very strange behavior. Dr. Morgan stroked Thomas's head. The dog leaned against her leg, as if afraid she would leave him again. I don't understand, she said. Why would Jeff take Thomas? And why bring him back just to abandon him on the street? Just then, Sam Chen walked into the clinic. He looked surprised to see Officer Roberts and Dr. Morgan there. I'm sorry, he said. I just wanted to check on the dog, to see if he was okay. Dr. Morgan smiled at Sam. It was a real smile that made her look years younger. Thomas is going to be fine. she said. Thanks to you and the others who helped him. Sam nodded, happy to hear the good news. Then he noticed the photos on the table. That's the man from the library, he said, pointing to the picture of Jeff Miller. Everyone looked at Sam. You've seen this man? Officer Roberts asked quickly. Yes, Sam said. He comes to the library where I work almost every day this week. He uses the computers to look things up. Is he there now? Officer Roberts asked, already standing up. He was there when I left to come here, Sam said. Officer Roberts picked up the photos. I need to have a talk with Mr. Miller, he said. He has some explaining to do. I'm coming with you, Dr. Morgan said. She stood up, looking strong and determined. Dr. Adams shook his head. Thomas needs you here, he said. He gets scared when you move away from him. The separation anxiety is strong. Dr. Morgan looked torn. She wanted answers from Jeff, but she could not leave Thomas when he needed her. I'll go, Sam offered. I know what the man looks like. I can show Officer Roberts exactly who he is. Dr. Morgan looked at Sam with grateful eyes. Thank you, she said. Please find out why he did this, why he took Thomas from me for 3 years, only to bring him back like this. Officer Roberts and Sam left for the library. The town was quiet that morning, with most people at work or school. No one knew that the mystery of the dog tied to the pole was about to get much deeper and darker. At the library, Jeff Miller sat at a computer in the back corner. He was looking at an online news page. The headline on the screen read, Missing Person Case Reopened in Riverdale. He did not notice Officer Roberts and Sam walking toward him. He did not know that his time for hiding secrets was over. Jeff Miller did not see Officer Roberts and Sam until they were standing right next to him. When he looked up from the computer screen, his face went pale. He quickly tried to close the webpage, but it was too late. Officer Roberts had already seen the headline about the missing person case. Mr. Miller, Officer Roberts said in his official voice, we need to talk about a dog you left tied to a pole yesterday. Jeff looked at the exit door. For a moment, it seemed like he might try to run, but there was nowhere to go. Officer Roberts stood between him and the door. Sam watched from a few steps back. I can explain, Jeff said in a quiet voice. His hands were shaking. You can explain at the police station, Officer Roberts said. Please come with me. The other people in the library watched as Officer Roberts led Jeff outside. Sam followed them. No one spoke until they reached the police car. Is this about Thomas? Jeff finally asked. Is he okay? Did someone find him? Officer Roberts looked surprised that Jeff knew the dog's name. Yes, Thomas was found. He's back with Dr. Morgan now. The same owner you stole him from 3 years ago. Jeff shook his head hard. No, you don't understand. I didn't steal him. I saved him. Saved him from what? Sam asked. He was confused. Jeff looked at Sam and then at Officer Roberts. From her, he said. From Dr. Morgan. Back at the vet clinic, Thomas was eating his second bowl of special food. Dr. Morgan sat next to him, gently stroking his back. She looked happier than Dr. Adams had ever seen her. He's eating well, Dr. Adams said. That's a good sign. Dr. Morgan smiled. He always loved food. When he was a puppy, he would eat anything he could find. One time he ate my gardening gloves. Her smile faded a little. Jeff bought him new toys after that. He was always kind to Thomas. Dr. Adams sat down across from Dr. Morgan. Why did you become so private after Thomas disappeared? He asked. You used to be part of the town. You went to events. You talked to people. Then you just stopped. Dr. Morgan looked down at Thomas. When Thomas went missing, I lost the only family I had left, she said. After my husband died, Thomas was my only companion. When he disappeared too, I couldn't bear to be around happy people anymore. And what about the rumors? Dr. Adams asked carefully. What rumors? Dr. Morgan looked up. That there was more to your husband's death than people knew, Dr. Adams said. that he didn't just fall down those stairs by accident. Dr. Morgan's face changed. Her eyes grew cold. Who has been saying such things? Before Dr. Adams could answer, his phone rang. It was Officer Roberts calling from the police station. "You need to come down here," Officer Roberts said. His voice sounded strange. "And bring Dr. Morgan with you. Jeff Miller is telling a story that you both need to hear." At the police station, Jeff sat in a small room with Officer Roberts and now Sam. Jeff had just finished telling them why he took Thomas 3 years ago. "I know it sounds crazy," Jeff said, "but I have proof." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out an old phone. "It's all here. Pictures and videos from that night. The night her husband didn't just fall down the stairs." Officer Roberts took the phone carefully. "These are serious claims, Mr. Miller." "I know," Jeff said. "That's why I brought Thomas back. I couldn't keep hiding him forever. And when I saw in the news that they were reopening the case about Dr. Morgan's husband, I knew it was time for the truth." "Why tie the dog to a pole in the rain?" Sam asked. "Why not just bring him to the police station?" Jeff looked sad. "I needed to create a scene," he said. "Something public that would get attention. Something that would force Dr. Morgan to come out of that house. Because Thomas is the witness to everything that happened that night." Officer Roberts looked confused. "The dog is a witness?" "Yes," Jeff said. "And the proof is on his collar. The collar I hid 3 years ago, after I took him away." Jeff Miller led Officer Roberts, Sam, Dr. Adams, and Dr. Morgan to his small room at the Riverdale Motel. Thomas walked between Jeff and Officer Roberts, still confused about who to stay with. The dog kept looking back and forth between his old owner and the man who had taken care of him for the past 3 years. The motel room was clean, but very simple. Just a bed, a table, and a chair. Jeff went to the closet and pulled out a small box from the top shelf. His hands shook as he opened it. "I kept everything here," he said. "I knew someday I would need to show the truth." Inside the box was a blue dog collar. It looked old and worn. There were dark stains on one side of it. "That's Thomas's old collar," Dr. Morgan said. "The one he was wearing when he disappeared." Officer Roberts took the collar carefully, using a plastic bag to hold it. "We'll have the lab test these stains," he said. "If this is blood, and if it matches your husband's DNA from the old case files, that will be very important evidence." Jeff also took out his old phone. "The pictures are on here," he said. "I never deleted them. I never even used this phone again after that night. I was too afraid." Officer Roberts took the phone as well. "We'll need to check all of this," he said. He looked at Dr. Morgan. "Until then, I'm afraid I need to ask you to come to the station for more questions." Dr. Morgan's face was like stone. "What about Thomas?" she asked. "He belongs with me." "Actually," Dr. Adams said, stepping forward, "as the town vet, I think Thomas should stay somewhere neutral for now. Somewhere safe for him while this is all sorted out." "I can take him," Sam offered. His quiet voice surprised everyone. They had almost forgotten he was there. "My apartment building just changed its rules. Pets are allowed now." Dr. Adams nodded. "That would be good. Sam helped rescue him yesterday. Thomas seems to trust him." Dr. Morgan looked like she wanted to argue, but Officer Roberts spoke first. "That's settled then," he said. "Thomas will stay with Sam until we figure all this out." As they left the motel, the news was already spreading through town. People stood on the sidewalks watching as Officer Roberts led Dr. Morgan to the police car. Some were taking pictures with their phones. Others were talking in low voices. The story of the dog tied to the pole was now turning into something much bigger. Sam took Thomas to his small apartment above the bookstore on Main Street. He had never had a pet before. He didn't know much about taking care of a dog, but he knew Thomas needed a safe place right now, away from both Dr. Morgan and Jeff until the truth came out. "It's not much," Sam said to Thomas as they entered the apartment. "But you're welcome to stay as long as you need to." Thomas walked around the apartment, sniffing everything. Then he jumped onto Sam's old couch and lay down with a sigh. He seemed tired from all the excitement. Sam sat next to him and gently patted his head. "You've had quite a few days, haven't you? First tied to a pole in the rain, then finding your old owner. Now all this trouble about what you saw that night." Thomas looked at Sam with his big brown eyes. It almost seemed like he understood. "Don't worry," Sam said. "The truth will come out, and then you can go where you really belong." That night, the whole town of Riverdale was talking about Dr. Morgan. Some people said they always knew there was something strange about her. Others defended her, saying Jeff Miller was just making up stories to avoid being charged with stealing her dog. Mrs. Wilson from the flower shop called Sam. "How is the dog doing?" she asked. "He's fine," Sam said. "Sleeping now." "Everyone is talking about what happened," Mrs. Wilson said. "Did you know that Jamal, the boy who helped yesterday, is Dr. Morgan's nephew? His mother is Dr. Morgan's sister. They haven't spoken in years." Sam was surprised. "No, I didn't know that. His mother just arrived in town," Mrs. Wilson continued. "She says there are things about her sister that no one knows. Things that happened long before her husband died." The mystery was getting deeper. Sam looked at Thomas sleeping peacefully on the couch. "This isn't just about a dog tied to a pole anymore, is it?" he said quietly. "No," Mrs. Wilson agreed. "It's about secrets that have been buried in this town for years. And somehow, that poor dog is in the middle of all of it." The next morning, Sam took Thomas for a walk before going to work at the library. The dog seemed happy to be outside, sniffing everything and wagging his tail. People on the street stopped to pet him. Everyone had heard the story by now. "Is that the dog from the pole?" a woman asked. "The one that belonged to Dr. Morgan?" Sam nodded but didn't say more. He didn't want to spread gossip about the case. When they reached the town square, Sam saw a woman sitting on a bench. She looked a lot like Dr. Morgan, but younger and with softer features. A teenage boy sat next to her. It was Jamal, who had helped save Thomas yesterday. "Hello," the woman said, standing up when she saw Sam and Thomas. "I'm Laura Carson, Dr. Morgan's sister. And this is my son, Jamal." "We've met," Jamal said, smiling at Sam. "Yesterday, in the rain." Laura knelt down to look at Thomas. The dog wagged his tail and licked her hand. "He remembers me," she said softly. "I used to visit my sister sometimes, before everything fell apart." "Mrs. Wilson told me you were in town," Sam said. "She mentioned you might know things about your sister." Laura stood up and brushed off her pants. "Yes, that's why I'm here. When Jamal told me what happened yesterday, I knew I had to come back. There are things the police need to know. Things about Elizabeth that go back to when we were children." Just then, Officer Roberts walked across the square toward them. He looked tired, like he had been up all night. "Mr. Chen," he said when he reached them. "And Mrs. Carson, I was just coming to find you. We need to talk." They all went to the police station. Thomas came too. In the meeting room, Officer Roberts showed them the results from the lab tests. The stains on Thomas's old collar were indeed blood, and it matched the DNA of Richard Morgan, Dr. Morgan's dead husband. "This confirms part of Jeff Miller's story," Officer Roberts said. "Thomas was present when Mr. Morgan died, and there was blood on his collar. But does it prove my sister pushed her husband?" Laura asked, "or hit him with a vase?" "No," Officer Roberts admitted. "It only proves the dog was there. The photos on Jeff's phone show Mr. Morgan at the bottom of the stairs and Dr. Morgan at the top. But they don't show what happened before the fall." "I can tell you about Elizabeth," Laura said, "about her anger problems. She's had them since we were young. Our parents sent her to special doctors for it. She would get so angry she couldn't control herself. Then later, she wouldn't even remember what she had done." Officer Roberts wrote this down. "Did she ever hurt anyone during these episodes?" Laura looked down at her hands. "She broke my arm once. She pushed me down the basement stairs when I was 10. She said she didn't remember doing it." "Mom," Jamal said, looking shocked. You never told me that. There's a lot I never told you about your aunt, Laura said. I wanted to protect you from knowing. Did you ever witness any violence between Dr. Morgan and her husband? Officer Roberts asked. I stopped visiting them after one big fight I saw, Laura said. Richard accidentally broke one of her favorite vases. She threw a heavy book at him. It hit him in the head, and he needed stitches. She told the doctor he fell. That was 2 years before he died. Sam looked at Thomas, who was lying quietly under the table. The dog seemed to be listening to every word. There's something else, Laura said. Something important about Thomas. Everyone looked at her. Thomas was Richard's dog, not Elizabeth's, Laura said. Richard got him as a puppy. Thomas followed Richard everywhere. He loved that dog more than anything. Elizabeth only started claiming Thomas was hers after Richard died. This new information changed things. If Thomas was really Richard's dog, it would explain why the dog was so upset the night Richard died, why he tried to help him, why he had blood on his collar. Jeff Miller said that after he took Thomas away that night, he was going to go to the police the next day. Sam said, but he didn't. Why not? He was scared, Officer Roberts said. Dr. Morgan is a powerful person in this town, and without solid proof, it would have been his word against hers. So he kept Thomas safe for 3 years, Jamal said, until he saw the case was being reopened. But why tie Thomas to a pole in the rain? Sam asked. Why not just bring him to the police station with the collar and the photos? Because he needed everyone to see, Laura said. He needed witnesses. He needed the town to know something was wrong. If he had just gone to the police again, it might have been covered up like before. Officer Roberts's phone rang. He answered it and listened for a moment. Then his face changed. When? He asked. How did she get out? He hung up and looked at them all. Dr. Morgan is gone, he said. She was released on bail this morning. And now she's missing. Her house is empty. Laura looked frightened. She'll come for Thomas, she said. She'll want to get rid of him now. The dog is the only living witness to what she did. The whole town joined the search for Dr. Morgan. Police cars drove through every street. People checked stores, restaurants, and the park. Officer Roberts was worried. A woman like Dr. Morgan, with money and resources, could easily leave town. She might already be gone. Sam took Thomas back to his apartment. He locked the doors and closed the curtains. If Laura was right, and Dr. Morgan wanted to get rid of Thomas, his apartment was the first place she would look. We need to move him somewhere safe, Sam told Officer Roberts on the phone. Somewhere she wouldn't think to look. I'll send an officer to your place, Officer Roberts said. Stay inside until they get there. Sam looked at Thomas, who was watching him with worried eyes. It's okay, buddy, Sam said. We won't let anything happen to you. The knock on the door came sooner than Sam expected. He looked through the peephole. It was Mrs. Wilson from the flower shop. Sam opened the door a crack, keeping the security chain on. Officer Roberts sent me, Mrs. Wilson said. He doesn't have any officers available right now. There's been an accident on the highway. He said to bring you and Thomas to my shop. The back room has no windows. You'll be safe there until they find Dr. Morgan. Sam was unsure. Can I call Officer Roberts to confirm? The phone lines are down, Mrs. Wilson said. Something about the storm last night. Please hurry. It's not safe here. Sam hesitated. Mrs. Wilson had helped rescue Thomas. She was part of the group that found him tied to the pole. But something felt wrong. Let me get Thomas ready, Sam said. I'll meet you downstairs in 5 minutes. He closed the door and quickly called Officer Roberts. The call went through fine. The phone lines were not down. I didn't send Mrs. Wilson, Officer Roberts said when Sam explained. Don't open the door. I'm sending officers now. Sam looked out his window. On the street below, he saw Mrs. Wilson getting into a black car. Dr. Morgan was in the driver's seat. The police arrived minutes later. They searched the area, but the black car was gone. Officer Roberts came up to Sam's apartment to make sure he and Thomas were safe. "She almost got in," Sam said. "She was using Mrs. Wilson to trick me." "Where is the real Mrs. Wilson?" Officer Roberts wondered. He called the flower shop. There was no answer. They found the real Mrs. Wilson in her shop's back room, tied up but unhurt. "She came in with a gun," Mrs. Wilson said after they freed her. "She forced me to call you. She said she just wanted her dog back." "It's not about the dog anymore," Laura said. She had come with Officer Roberts. "It's about what Thomas represents. He's proof of what she did. As long as he's alive, her secret isn't safe." The police set up roadblocks around town. They checked every car leaving Riverdale. But there was still no sign of Dr. Morgan or her black car. Then Jeff Miller had an idea. "The old lake house," he said. "The Morgans had a small house on Lake Fairview, about 20 miles north of town. She might go there." Officer Roberts sent police cars to the lake. Sam, Jeff, Laura, and Jamal waited at the police station with Thomas. Hours passed with no news. "I should have gone to the police 3 years ago," Jeff said. "None of this would be happening now." "You were scared," Laura said. "I understand that. My sister can be very frightening when she's angry." "I just wanted to protect Thomas," Jeff said, petting the dog. "He was so loyal to Richard. He tried to save him that night. A dog like that deserves to be protected." Finally, Officer Roberts got a call from the lake. They had found Dr. Morgan's car, but she wasn't there. The lake house was empty too. It looked like she had been there, but left in a hurry. "We'll keep searching," Officer Roberts said. "She can't hide forever." That night, Sam took Thomas back to his apartment with a police officer standing guard outside. Everyone was tired from the long, stressful day. Thomas fell asleep on the couch, but Sam stayed awake, too worried to sleep. Around midnight, Sam heard a noise from the fire escape outside his window. He grabbed his phone to call for help, but before he could dial, the window opened. Dr. Morgan climbed in quietly. She looked different now. Her neat clothes were dirty. Her hair was a mess. Her eyes were wild and desperate. "Give me my dog," she said in a low voice. "He belongs to me." "He was never yours," Sam said, backing away. "He was Richard's dog. You just wanted him because Richard loved him." Dr. Morgan's face twisted with anger. "Richard loved that stupid dog more than me. He was going to leave me. Take half my money. Take Thomas. I couldn't let that happen." "So you did push him," Sam said, just like Jeff said. Dr. Morgan laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "I hit him with my mother's vase first. He was trying to pack his things, saying he was leaving that night, taking the dog with him. I got so angry I couldn't see straight." Sam was trying to reach the door, to call for the officer outside. Thomas was now awake, watching from the couch. He made a low growl at Dr. Morgan. "Even now," Dr. Morgan said, looking at Thomas, "he still hates me, still blames me. A stupid dog." "He's not stupid," Sam said. "He loved Richard. He tried to save him. That's why he had blood on his collar." "He was getting in my way," Dr. Morgan said, barking, trying to wake Richard up. "I would have gotten rid of him too that night if Jeff hadn't shown up and taken him." Just then, the apartment door burst open. Officer Roberts and 2 other police officers rushed in. "Elizabeth Morgan," Officer Roberts said, "you're under arrest for the murder of Richard Morgan." Dr. Morgan looked at them all, then at Thomas. Something in her face changed. The anger faded. She suddenly looked very tired and old. "It's over," she said quietly. "Finally over." As the police led Dr. Morgan away, Thomas watched from Sam's side. The dog that had been tied to a pole in the rain had finally brought justice for his first owner. And in doing so, he had brought together an unlikely group of people who might never have met otherwise. 1 year later, the town of Riverdale gathered in the park for a special ceremony. Mayor Peterson, who used to walk with a cane, unveiled a small statue of a dog. The plaque read, "In honor of Thomas, who taught us that loyalty, love, and truth will always find a way." Thomas himself was there, healthy and happy. He lived with Jeff now, in a small house with a big yard. Sam visited often. So did Laura and Jamal. Even Mrs. Wilson brought dog treats whenever she saw them in town. The dog who had once been tied to a pole in the rain was now a symbol of hope for Riverdale. A reminder that sometimes what looks like a sad ending is really just the beginning of an important story.